And we are recording. Oh, dang.
Womp, womp, womp. Welcome to 2026.
Hello, and welcome everybody to episode 17, or episode 1 of 2026 of the Bore and Stoke podcast, brought to you by a slightly new sponsor for this year.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Tell me more.
It's still the Honda Goldwing.
Oh, nice.
But now it's the Honda Goldwing and the Honda Goldwing Tour.
Excellent.
So, let's hear some more about those two bikes right now. 50 years ago, Honda introduced the Goldwing and totally rewrote the book on long-distance riding. Today, it's still setting the standard with that iconic flat-six engine, integrated nav, and premium audio. And while we didn't invent podcasts, we're bringing a fresh take on this one to the moto world. So hey, maybe in 50 years, we'll be celebrating our podcast anniversary, just like Honda is celebrating the Goldwings. Brought to you by Honda Powersports, this episode is powered by the 50th anniversary Goldwing. If you're going to ride something legendary. All right, welcome back everyone to, like I said, episode 17 of the Bore and Stoke podcast, the first one of the new year. Ryan, Dennis, did you guys have good Christmases? Christmas? What's the plural of Christmas?
I don't think it's Christmas.
It's not Christmas. Happy New Year's. How'd your holidays go?
Hey, it was fantastic here in the States. It was dry and warm everywhere that I went, which was not California. So California nearly washed away, at least Southern California. How's it going in Canada, Dennis?
Wow, we froze. Yeah.
Well, not much of a surprise there, I guess.
Nope.
And Troy, how about your holiday?
Good. I stayed here, stayed local, got rained on heavily while you took a little road trip and drove around the United States of America.
That's right.
Had to rent a boat to just get down the street to the supermarket.
Get groceries, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Excellent.
But all in all, pretty good. You know, I hardly thought about motorcycles the entire break we had.
Yeah, the break that you and I had. Dennis didn't have as much of a break, so I don't think he got to not think about motorcycles.
That's fair. But here we are. We're back, and bikes are back on my mind. Sort of.
Back in it.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into the thick of it all, let's recap or do a quick shout out to episode 16, the last one of 2025 of the podcast.
It was a banger, that one.
That was a good one. So, if you weren't aware or you didn't see it or watch it, that one, Ryan and I interviewed the legend, Johnny Campbell, in the middle of the desert, too.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe popping onto the YouTubes to watch that one, because it was fun getting a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at the Dakar prep training. They're in like stage 4 of the Dakar right now, so that thing's kicked off, but we got to get a little behind-the-scenes of the HRC factory effort there talking to Johnny, so it was super cool.
Yeah, I mean, isn't technology cool? He was in the middle of the desert and could still record a podcast with us.
It only took 2 Starlinks to mostly work, but through the magic of editing, it's palatable.
Yeah, you, the viewer, didn't see what we had to go through to get that one done.
Days of recording.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was a fun
Check
chat.
it out.
Yeah. All right, so what we have in store for this episode is largely just recapping a lot of the news from the end of last year, a little bit of bike reviews, a little bit of odds and ends here, but I think the big topic that we should start with, we always end each year with our Motorcycle.com Best of Awards, or the MOBOs for short. And let's just get right into it. The MOBOs for 2025. A doozy, like they always were. Let's see. Where
I mean,
should
I'm
we even
just
start?
thankful that everyone agreed with us like they do every year
Oh yeah.
with our picks for these categories. I mean, this year we did do a bit of an abbreviated MOBO. It was only 6 categories, but still drummed up some
No,
controversy.
there's never controversy. Everyone loves what we do around here. All right.
So what do we start with? Lightweight? Best lightweight motorcycle 2025.
While you look at that, I'm jumping straight to the comments of the motorcycle of the year.
I don't know if that's a good place to start.
I haven't even looked at them since this whole thing
great.
was posted. So
Well,
you guys go look at the other bikes for a sec. Talk about that. I'm trying to find like the most like the biggest daggers.
okay.
How,
Yeah. It shouldn't take long. All right, Dennis, what do we got for the lightweight motorcycle? Best lightweight or entry level motorcycle 2025. This was your choice entirely. What do you think?
The Aprilia Tuono 457.
Oh, really? Oh, wait a minute. Let me take a look at that. No, I mean, as we know, Aprilia has always made excellent chassis, and this little 457, if you will, is another example of a great chassis. You know, there are a lot of bikes in this category, and that just keeps getting better and better. But in terms of the performance and handling that you get out of the Aprilia, kind of felt like that one deserved the accolades here. And, you know, it's not to say that there weren't honorable mentions, because Suzuki's new DRZ platform, both the S and SM models, are also super good options in this kind of lower displacement category. But those aren't the only ones. I mean, KTM put out a lot of cool 390s, and those also deserve an honorable mention. But in this category, the Aprilia takes the cake. I'm curious what your plan here is, Troy. Are you looking for shitty comments in all of them, or just
no,
one?
just the big one, just the biggest one. And I think I found it. So
okay, good. Dennis, you and I can just work through the other categories then. Okay, next up for the Mobo for best value of 2025. What do we got? This one was a favorite of Troy's, actually.
True. I found my comment for the big one, so I'll join you guys again for these other guys. Best value of 2025.
Oh, let me take a look because I forgot.
Yeah.
The Honda Hornet 750.
That's right. That is right. I suppose I need to talk about this one since I'm the one who picked it.
Yeah.
But you've ridden the bike too.
Wait, we came to an agreement after a lot of
disagreements.
Exactly, as usual.
Yeah. So an $8,000 bike, well, $7,999.
Yeah, credit where credit's due.
Yeah, take the extra dollar and do something with it. Honda, so you get the Honda reliability, but you just get a lot of motorcycle for your buck. And I'm pretty sure that price has gone up now for 2026, as they always do. But yeah. The as of the time we did it, it was $8,000.
It's still not bad.
Yeah. But it's just a good little motorcycle. I mean, the engine was a lot of fun. The engine likes to rev. It really
sounds great.
It sounds great. It got me all excited. You know, the ergonomics are kind of cramped, but I'm willing
like mostly in the knees. It was kind of like the seat felt almost like artificially low, because then you get a really good bend at the, well, not good, but quite a bit of a bend at the knee.
Yeah. But like all in all, unless you're really tall or large, it's just a good little bike with a lot of technology, a lot of fun, a lot of performance. It just kind of gets the blood pumping, which, you know, that's why we ride bikes, at least partially anyway, is to feel excited about them.
Exactly.
And to do all that for not a lot of money, pretty dang cool.
Absolutely.
And then the honorable mentions, we've got the CF Moto 675 SS. A cool looking bike, another affordable bike, of course. That's what this category is all about. Cool looks, cool tech. You get a lot of tech for this price tag. I think overall it came up just a little bit short, at least in my opinion, because the ergonomics are really weird, and in typical CF Moto fashion.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that engine kind of falls flat up top, whereas that Honda really comes alive up top, and there was something
it's
about
good.
that.
Yeah, no, the Honda is solid through the rev range, so
Yeah.
kind of knocked the CF Moto out of contention there.
Then lastly, the proof that value doesn't mean cheap. The other honorable mention is the Kawasaki Ninja 1100 SX SE. SX space SE. Their sport touring platform that's now a true 1100cc four banger. Also offers you a lot of motorcycle for the buck. If you were to go cross country on a sport touring platform, it'd be hard not to consider this one. Yeah, comfort, luggage, although you got to pay extra for the luggage, which is a big bummer, but you can do it. Yeah, overall comfort, lots of performance. If you want to tour, you can tour. If you want to get your sporty side out, you can do that all in this one package here. Just an overall cool bike.
Yeah. And the 1100, doesn't sound like that much of a, a boost or whatever, but it does provide like just even better flat torque curve. Like it's a really nice upgrade, and they, did it in the Versus as well as the Ninja. But yeah, that just kind of bumps the usefulness of this bike even farther.
Yeah, this was the bike I was supposed to ride at the intro. And then
what happened?
Almost a year ago to the day, actually.
Interesting.
Oh, and then a lot of Los Angeles burned to the ground, as well as my house. So
yeah, Kawasaki decided, let's hold off.
Kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not here to bum anyone out. What about the best touring motorcycle of 2025? Troy's perpetually bummed, so that's just the way it is.
Yeah. It's been a year, okay, guys? It's been a year.
Best touring motorcycle of 2025.
I gotta refresh my memory. What do we have here? Oh, yes.
This one went to the Tiger Sport 800.
That's right. A versatile kind of, it's interesting how things have developed over the years with the sport work touring category, because like you notice things were, classic sport touring bikes like the Ninja we were just talking about, but then you got the long-legged ones, and then it kind of turned into ADV, and now we're getting some of those long-legged tourers back, and that's kind of what the Tiger Sport 800 is all about. And yeah, I think, from Nick DeSena and his review of the bike early on in the year, he was super happy with it. There's a new tour version that actually has top cases. It's a little bit more expensive, but that one's not out yet. So we gave the nod to the Tiger Sport 800 Tour. And I think, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was going to say, it's just an engine that we love so much in like whatever it's put in.
Mm-hmm. It's hard not to like the triple.
And I feel particularly old that I went to the intro for the Tiger 1050 launch.
Exactly.
Back in the mid 2000s. So
and that's exactly what I was talking about. That was the last time we had these long-legged tourers, and yeah, Troy's been around for the whole time. You can see it in his sideburns.
You can see it in the bags under my eyes, in the grays. Why do you think I wear a hat? There's so many gray hairs underneath here.
Salt and pepper, man.
Thank you. Now I'm hungry. But
the showing that the touring category is still kind of got a lot of these, the Honda NT1100, new bike, pretty cool platform, kind of based around the Africa Twin, but now more in a 17-inch wheel touring platform, is still kind of one of those taller sporty touring bikes. But yeah, I mean, really the same kind of conversation there with the Tiger of why it's a good option for this category, because you're going to get, a good punchy engine with that Africa Twin engine, and just slap it into a tourer.
And you get a center stand, which for a sport touring bike, it's a pretty big deal.
Might want to maintain that chain.
And there's a reason why that Honda chose that to be their platform for their police bikes.
There you go. Because you can mount machine guns on it.
The first motorcycle you can do a pit maneuver with.
I love to see it.
Yeah, it's a cool bike. And then, of course, there's the aforementioned Ninja 1100 SX SE on here. Same reasons. Great bike. Also sport touring oriented. Deserve to be in 2 categories.
For sure.
What do we got next?
It's getting a little steamy with this next category, because we're talking nakeds.
Ooh, you put your mouth right up against that microphone.
Stop it.
Well, wouldn't you know it? Another 3-cylinder.
Perfect.
This one is a little bit bigger, though.
A little spicier.
Mm-hmm. I got to get the name right. 2025 Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS. I always get all the different varieties mixed up on this guy.
There's a lot of alphabet soup going on.
Yeah. I mean, Nick rode that bike last year, came away gushing about it. Everyone I've seen, heard, read about who rode this bike at the intro or any other place has been just smitten about it. And I mean, I can totally understand. It's such a cool bike. We've liked the previous versions too, so.
Yeah, I mean, not a big surprise. I've owned 2 of them. It's not a big surprise. It's been solid for years and years, and I think what Triumph is focused on with their motorcycles is really the refinement of the systems rather than going for all-out horsepower and maximum performance. They just make what they have. They do increase the performance on these things, but I think what Triumph has really killed it with like basically its entire lineup is the refinement of these packages. And now you do have electronic suspension and then, plenty of horsepower and torque on this bike, but it's the refinement of the whole package, I think, that stands out.
To be very specific, it's the wheelie control setting that lets you
wheelie assist,
sorry. Lets you just full pin, whack it wide open, and then it'll let you come up and stay up better than Viagra will.
That's right.
And it just lets you ride the wheelie as far as you want. I'm like, okay.
Once it's cool. Up, you can ride it as long as you want.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about, but
the Triumph Speed Triple.
Right. But yeah, for all of those people, ourselves included, who suck at doing wheelies, this is our savior.
Exactly. We've got a real nice shot of Nick doing a wheelie just to prove it.
Yeah.
In the article.
Exactly. Ooh, look at that runner-up bike. Who's that?
Oh, stop.
Stop
it. Come on. Of course it was going to be the Ducati Street Fighter V4S. You couldn't mention this category without mentioning one of the especias de meatballs from kind of went a little Italian to like Borat there at the end. But obviously it's a super cool motorcycle. The amount of technology that Ducati continues to come out with its flagships, the sport bike with the Panigale, and then bring it into the Street Fighter V4, even more so than in previous iterations of this bike. It's just an insane amount of technology. And being that I'm not the dude spending the most time on the track in this at this publication, how comfortable I felt immediately picking up the pace on this thing and ripping it as much as I was willing to, I think stands out to, having a beast of performance, and someone that's just some joker can feel comfortable pulling the throttle back all the way.
I mean, Ducati's really, they've gotten to a point now where they understand, like, okay, we have plenty of horsepower. Let's make this thing accessible, make it easier to ride for a broader swath of people. And
which is always kind of funny, but I appreciate it.
I mean, for the longest time, a bunch of manufacturers just chased performance to the point where fewer and fewer people could ride it, let alone ride it to its potential. And I think that's come back to bite, especially the sporty bike segment in the ass, and that like sales slumped. People realized like this is cool in a very specific setting. And so I think the market dictated, hey, let's make this thing easier to ride and still a ton of fun.
And give people the adjustability to rein things back and dial things back the way they want for their skill level and whatever. Super solid, which, it obviously it's not a cheap motorcycle, but that's kind of where we come into the next honorable mention in this category, the Honda Hornet CB1000 SP, because that bike is, well, at the time of this writing was just shy of 11 grand. Solid 1000cc naked bike from Honda. I think the claim's like 150 horsepower. So, you get plenty of motorcycle here. You get some Olin suspension, Brembo brakes. And yeah, for that price point, it's just hard not to consider it.
It's similar to why we gave the 750, the CB 750 a nod, as a lot of motorcycle for not a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And if you like modifying your bikes, there's lots of potential there to do so.
There you go.
Oh, what do we got next? Best sport bike?
We're getting sportier and sportier.
Naked bikes with clothes on, or something like that.
Boring.
Oh, the best sport bike. Well,
the trend continues.
Yeah. Speaking of easy bikes to ride, the Panigale V2, the new one, got top spot there. And we've said this a bunch over the course of 2025 as to whenever we talked about the Panigale V2 or anything with the V2, the new Ducati V2 engine in it, it's just so much easier to ride. It's super, super accessible. Ducati technology is still everywhere you want it to be. It's still top notch. In the case of the Panigale V2, when we did our super sport test with it, it was just like the rider felt like they were in control of the bike instead of the other way around. And that was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was, again, basically the same story for me too with that one. It's just the one I felt the most comfortable on, most comfortable ergonomics. Definitely mentioned that since everyone had something to say about our ergonomics conversation in that comparison. But yeah, comfortable, fun, easy to ride sport bike. Yeah, solid choice.
And then the honorable mention had to go to not the Yamaha R9, but the KTM 990 RCR. This bike delivers on the notion that a sport bike should be thrilling. It's got to have soul. It's got to have attitude, and I think KTM knows how to do that. So, and especially from KTM after the just dismal year they had last year with all their financial problems, to launch this and have it be a pretty big hit, all of that just combines for an honorable mention spot. I think what keeps it from the top spot, at least according to the review that Nick wrote about it, was there's just a little bit there that wasn't quite as easy to tame and handle as the Ducati. I think that's more of a characteristic versus a penalty or a negative point. But yeah, it's easy to split hairs between those two bikes. We had to pick someone to be the winner and someone to be runner-up. So splitting hairs is how we got to this point. It's only natural then that we put these two bikes together in a test to see who's top dog, which is in the works.
Someday, yeah.
Someday. Alrighty then. What do we got?
I think the big one, Dennis. Why don't you tell us about the big one?
Yes, the motorcycle of the year.
Woo!
Boo, 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 boo.
Obviously the top prize for the Mobos, but if you listen to our conversation for the last couple of minutes here, you probably will hear some familiar arguments for the winner and runner-ups.
I think that's safe to say that Ducati's new V2 platform that we have seen in a host of motorcycles and plan to see in even more. Does anyone know the number off the top of their head? What?
For how many bikes?
6 motorcycles are going to share this platform, I think, in total. Is that right?
Almost one from every one of their families. Almost.
Yeah. So Street Fighter, Panigale, Multistrada, Monster, Hypermotard, Desert X. That goes to show Ducati is very happy with this platform, and from everything that we've had the chance to ride, we would agree. They've done an excellent job with this, and it really is all about making the motorcycle easier to ride. They, lower the displacement of this V2, which was a big talking point when it first came out, but they also made the entire thing lighter, the chassis more kind of, like a monocoque chassis around the engine, and the entire package on all the motorcycles we tested so far has been just on the money. So we kind of expect that for the new models that'll be coming out in the future. But I think that is definitely we've been able to sample it in 3 of these platforms already, and I think that pretty well earns Ducati the top spot in the 2025 year of motorcycling.
I really want to read this comment. Are we ready for it?
Oof, God, I don't know yet. I should have put whiskey in this cup. Go ahead.
I mean, it's nothing we haven't heard before, but here we go. I'm not going to read the username because I don't want to give this person credit. Okay, here we go.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
There we go. These magazines just test pure performance and never mention long-term reliability. They know full well the orange bikes are a giant money suck, and yet they promote them anyway. I'm sorry, but I call BS. Followed by a couple more replies to that same comment about how they're in agreement of how stupid we are for not testing reliability on the bikes we test. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 replies to that comment about how we are idiots for not testing reliability on a bike.
We did have one person sticking up for us mentioning that how do you judge and report on the long-term reliability of a brand new motorcycle, which is our argument. We do not have these motorcycles for 20,000 miles. We don't have them for a year. Sometimes we only have them for hours. So
that is a rare occurrence. It's not common. We only have the bikes for hours.
I'm talking about press introductions, though.
Okay.
Your first impression of a motorcycle, and it's just not realistic, and certainly not something that we would want to speak to, not knowing.
And what always happens, or what has happened before, and it's happened to several people in this industry, is they buy a motorcycle for themselves, and they never get to ride it because they're too busy riding other press bikes so they can get their impressions on it for the purposes of providing you a free review that you just have to click on a website to read.
Yeah, I feel like you're speaking directly to my soul and to my KTM 890 Adventure R that's sitting in the garage without break-in miles at this point.
You have a bike. Evans Brassfield had a 790 Duke that...
At least he rode it more than...
He did find time to ride it. The times I've had a bike, it just sat because no time to ride it. So, yeah. There we go.
There's our Mobo rant over.
Over. All right. That about does it for the Mobos, and that's only the first topic of our podcast.
We're gonna burn through the rest of these.
All right, back on. Let's see. Back on topic here.
Speaking of reliability.
Speaking of orange bikes and reliability.
Oh no.
KTM 390 and Husqvarna 401 models are recalled for an ECU issue. What's going on here, Dennis?
It's an electronic issue that can cause the engines to stall a little too readily.
Oh, minor detail.
They are sending out letters to customers later this month. I think it was January 23rd that is going out. I don't know yet if there's a fix yet that's been announced, but we'll know in a couple of weeks.
And this not only affects it, basically all of the 390 platforms, which include the Husqvarna, Spart, and Vitpillen 401s. And I believe there was also a kickstand spring recall on the 390s as well. So there's a couple unfortunate things with those bikes. I've had one in the garage for a little bit, and they've had to come and get it and swap it with a new one, I believe, because of these electronic issues. But now the one I have has been fixed, so I would imagine they'll be doing that for all the customers of these bikes too.
Womp, womp, womp. Yep, not ideal for KTM's reputation, but the best you can do is rectify the situation. So, in keeping with KTM news, the next item on our list here is more KTM news, but this time from an organizational standpoint. Neumeister. He's going to keep running the company through 2028. So, Dennis, tell us more about what's happening here.
Yes, Gottfried Neumeister, he joined KTM on September 1st, 2024, I believe, as they were going through their restructuring. And he was first co-CEO with Stefan Purer, and then he later became the sole CEO. The significance here is that the new owners, or the future new owners, once everything's, well, new owners now, Bajaj Auto, have extended him early to stay with the brand through 2028. What's the takeaway here is that it gives a sense of continuation of what they've been doing, and
a little bit of stability.
And some autonomy. Whether you believe it or not, I saw some of the comments, again, reading the comments here, that saying, he's just a figurehead, and he's Bajaj is still pulling the strings. Well, yeah, they are pulling the strings because they own the company. But there's zero reason for them to extend him, especially when he still had term on his contract at this point, if he was just to be a figurehead. So there's some intent behind keeping him in the CEO spot.
Yeah, I mean, out of all of the news that has come out, this is something. Stability comes to mind with the roller coaster that we've been watching play out over the last year. It's nice to see something where hopefully that might be a good thing, to less roller coaster ride for those guys for 2026, hopefully.
And I mean, it's, for whatever it's worth, it's encouraging to see the guy going to MotoGP races. So,
yeah, he's just like us.
A CEO could easily just go chill in his living room and not bother to be around what products are.
Showing some, at least some feigning interest in the product is nice. Yeah,
and
I hope it's not feigning interest.
Well, Neumeister was featured in the teaser video that he released of the new 850 MotoGP engine. So keeping it on here is also an indication that they are continuing with that path.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Good call. But that's not the only places that there have been organizational changes, Dennis?
Yeah, that's right. In the first major news from Harley-Davidson's new CEO, Artie Starrs, he made some changes to the management team surrounding him, mostly in the marketing and branding roles. And there's a shift of Jonathan Root from chief financial officer to chief commercial officer. So he's taking on an expanded role here going forward. There's also a couple of team members leaving, but I think the more important takeaway here is that he is bringing back two members of the Davidson family in some sort of advisor roles. First, Bill Davidson, who we had a couple of months ago as a guest on his podcast. He will be the brand ambassador and special advisor to the CEO. And Karen Davidson will be continuing as brand ambassador, but with more of a hands-on approach to the branding and marketing teams.
Which, yeah,
I mean, weren't they in those positions before?
Not Bill specifically, at least not as hands-on as he's going to be going forward.
Well, I suppose with that last name, you are, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, you kind of represent the brand no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Oh, you go ahead first.
I was just thinking, I mean, it's definitely going to be helpful for Artie to have someone like Bill, alongside, who knows the history of the brand, who knows, kind of how the brand has marketed itself and portrayed itself to its customers, potential customers, or whatever, through all of the decades, and just has a really kind of a specialist focus on that. Obviously, that's going to be beneficial for the CEO.
Especially for a CEO whose main criticism people have against him is that he has had no prior history with the brand or for motorcycling,
right?
Entirely. So he's directly addressing those concerns by bringing back to the fold two members of the Davidson family. I mean, I don't think there's any better way you could have done that specifically.
I agree.
I mean, you can say the same thing about a lot of previous CEOs at Harley. But
also true.
The other takeaway from this story is, and this might be behind some of the other executive changes, is that they are bringing a renewed focus on the Milwaukee office. It started with the management changes, but since the news broke, it's come out that they are encouraging more white-collar employees to come back and work out of their headquarters in Milwaukee.
That's a corporate way, or a really interesting way of saying there's a return to office policy being instituted.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly not like this is the only company in the broader, world that is kind of coming back to a return to work policy. I mean, we've even had. Please.
But the lack of focus on Milwaukee was a specific criticism made by one of Harley's investors, H Partners, specifically with the previous CEO not being local to Milwaukee. So this, I think, will do a long way to addressing some of those concerns as well.
Totally. All right. That's fair. Since Dennis knows everything about Harleys, he could probably also tell us more about Harleys that you're not supposed to know about yet.
What?
What?
Yes, we dropped this bombshell just before Christmas. So a happy Christmas to all, except for Harley's PR team, who had to kind of
damage control.
Yeah, but they haven't really said anything because they shouldn't really have to. Harley is supposed to be announcing the rest of their touring lineup, and we're talking about the touring, full dress touring trikes and CVO models next week, actually, at least next week, as of when we're recording this on the 14th. But we managed to get our hands on the official photos of each of these new unannounced models ahead of time.
How'd you do it? I'm kidding. Don't tell me.
I have my ways.
Yeah.
saucy.
So, I mean, obviously this is a audio, or maybe you're on YouTube watching this. Sorry. But if you want to check out these pictures that we were able to get a hold of here at Motorcycle.com, we've got the article up on the homepage. You can check those out, get a little sneak peek of what Dennis was able to sleuth out of the interwebs.
I mean, specifically, we're talking about the 2026 Street Glide Limited. What else we got?
A bunch.
Oh, there's a
Road
lot, yeah.
Glide
Tri-Glide, Ultra.
Basically, we're getting the new limiteds, which are
Right.
the full with the they're calling it the Grand Tour Pack now, which is the backrest, top case, and built-in speakers. We also have the new trikes, the Road Glide 3 and the Street Glide 3 Limited. They're all getting the new fairings that were introduced on the touring platform a couple of years ago, so they should look familiar to anyone who's been looking at Harley the last couple of years.
Awesome. I dig the color for the 2026 Pan America Limited. The green kind of design looks pretty nice. I wasn't a huge fan of the camo on the previous CVO.
It's so dumb.
The CVO Pan America. Yeah, I prefer this green look for the 2026 model, but you'll have to head on over to Motorcycle.com to see what we're talking about.
I mean, they look good. Harley knows how to make a good looking bike. It's kind of cool seeing the new trikes. Like, you can actually see the wheels on these trikes, on the rear wheels on these trikes.
Very much so.
Yeah, I'm like, that looks, for a trike, it looks pretty good.
Oh, trike.
We don't know any of the specifics behind what's been changed underneath all the bodywork, but there are signs that there's something going on with the rear end of these trikes now. A lot of people are asking and hoping for independent rear suspension. We can't confirm that, but we do know that there is something different. The lug nuts are different. The wheels look like they're spaced farther apart than previously. So something is going on, but we're not quite sure yet what.
Yeah, we will have a chance to sample the Tri-Glide or Road Street Glide 3 here at a press introduction coming up in about a month, a little bit more than that. But yeah, going to be riding some of these new Grand American touring motorcycles here soon. So stay tuned for the full review on Motorcycle.com.
Would you say there's junk in the trunk?
I sure hope so.
I would.
I want to know all about the junk that's in that trunk.
Oh, man. All right. My apologies. Okay, well, let's move over to Harley's not crosstown, but you know what I mean, crosstown rivals.
Yeah.
Indian.
Yeah. Dennis, like we said, Troy and I have been off, so Dennis has been doing all the work over here finding all of these stories. So what else have you sleuthed out of the webs?
Yeah, well, first of all, for anyone who's been paying attention to Indian's branding since for a while now, the big established 1901 tagline they pretty much slap onto everything. This year, 2026, will be the 125th anniversary of the brand. Whether people agree whether that makes sense for a brand that's been shifting from ownership to ownership and from different iterations after another, that's to be argued. But nevertheless, it is still the 125th anniversary of the original brand's formation. So let's just keep it at that.
There you go.
And to celebrate that, we have unearthed documentation from Australia for a Scout Bobber 125th anniversary.
Very cool.
And what's interesting about this bobber is that based on the model code, it seems that this will be using the higher powered version of the Speed Plus engine that's found in the 101 Scouts. So this will be second version to use that engine.
Okay, that's cool because initially I just figured they were going to make it some classic colors with classic styling, but at least there's something performance-wise that will be different about this thing too.
We're not sure when this will be announced, but obviously sometime this year. And speaking of anniversaries, there is another manufacturer.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, sorry. Thought it was your anniversary.
Oh, no. Not yet. Hold on.
No, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
But another big anniversary this year, 2026 marks the 100th anniversary for Ducati.
Nice. That. Triple digits.
Which is why it kind of stood out to us when we noticed that Ducati had certified a model called the Formula 73. That will be based on it's a model that's going to be sharing the engine of the Scrambler, the air-cooled V-twin engine. But noticeably, it didn't have any Scrambler branding in it at all. It's just going to be called the Formula 73. And that name, if you know the year and you know the history of Ducati, should mean something. It was in 1972 that Ducati won the Imola 200 with a screen froze. It was in 1972 that Ducati won the Imola 200 with the 750 SS Desmo, the first desmodromic valve Ducati. And it was 73 that they released the first production version. So with the formula name, which related to the Formula 750 series of that year, kind of tells us that this is probably going to be a tribute model to that legendary race bike.
Well, and I think it's notable too that you mentioned the engine first, and we're talking about the 803cc air-cooled engine, because it's also one of the few Ducati engines that's still using that desmodromic valve train.
It's also one of Ducati's now oldest engines.
In current use,
in current production, yeah. Sorry. I wonder if this could be like a send-off for that engine platform.
Maybe a little both.
Probably, but with the name alone and the centennial, we're pretty sure this will be a one-off, one-year special. So that's entirely possible.
Sure, it'll be a cool one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. Alrighty. Yeah. With that, let's take a quick second to hear from our sponsor. Time for a quick break and a shout out to the evolution of the Honda Goldwing. 5 decades in, and it's still the ultimate touring bike thanks to Apple CarPlay, selectable ride modes, and that legendary flat six engine. Add in Honda's DCT transmission, class-leading comfort, and a serious amount of storage, and it's easy to see why this bike has been setting the standard for so long. Because touring isn't just about the miles. It's about making every one count. Learn more about the 50th anniversary Goldwing at powersports.honda.com. Welcome back, everybody. Let's keep this train moving along. Next up, we've covered the newsy stuff now. Let's get into some of the more meatier topics on the website, starting with our pal Neil Graham.
Neil.
If you remember,
our second favorite Canadian, by the way, Dennis.
Oh, right.
Thank you.
Right. I was gonna make a joke, but probably shouldn't. Anyway, Neil Graham. If you remember, Neil Graham is one of the pilots who went with us on our Destination Ontario series, toured the upper northern areas of Ontario. He is a former editor-in-chief of, what was it, Cycle Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's done this same job for quite a bit in the past, still rides, and is an excellent writer, a wordsmith.
Filmmaker, documentarian. His list of accolades is pretty long.
Yeah. And one of his worst traits is racing Ducatis. And he was so kind as to write a 3-part series called The Long Hard Road, chapters 1, 2, and 3 for us on Mo, about his love-hate relationship with racing old Ducatis. You don't need to be a fan of racing, although it does help, to appreciate the words and the stories he wrote for us. It's just, I think anybody could relate to, if you like to wrench on your own bikes especially, and if you have an older motorcycle, it doesn't have to be a Ducati, but extra bonus points if it is. You can relate to what Neil's talking about, just the ups and downs, the trials, tribulations, the determination of owning an older motorcycle, having it bite you in the ass, conquering it, having fun, having success with it, only for it to bite you in the ass again, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
It's a fun read.
it's really good. And I mean, honestly, even, towards the end of 2025, we had a lot of crazy stuff going on here at Motorcycle.com, a lot of changes, and just, a lot of last minute projects that came up that were for the betterment and benefit of the site for sure. But it basically kind of, after I read Neil's stories and, went through everything, I was like, it made me feel a little bit better about the ups and downs that we were kind of going through as a publication towards the end. And I was exhausted by the end. And it was just nice to read something that, reminds you that you're probably not the only one going through trials and tribulations.
Yeah, it was fun to read it, and having now that I've known Neil for 20 years, close to 20 years now in some capacity or another. I've got another friend who modifies and races old Ducatis as well, and it's like I've heard almost the exact same stories from both of them. So it's kind of personal to a degree with me, but yeah, give it a read if you haven't already. It's a lot of fun. What do we have? What do we have next? Oh,
well, we did get a little bit of a sneak peek at some other lower displacement motorcycles that Triumph is adding to the lineup with the Thruxton and Tracker 400s, right. Which really shouldn't be a lot of, you really shouldn't have to tap into your imagination too hard if you know what the Thruxton and a Tracker are. These are going to be kind of a classically styled cafe racer for the Thruxton with the 400 engine that we saw released in the other two bikes earlier, well, a couple years ago now, and then a Tracker street kind of scrambler kind of deal. But two new options for folks looking at that lower displacement Triumph kind of modern classics.
And they look good. They look really good. I mean, the Thruxton has, signature Thruxton shapes, body styles, upper fairings, and so on, and
it has the if you are into the fairing design from when Triumph did the Speed Triple 1200 RR, yep. It's really similar to that. Like kind of it's this classic styling of the cafe racer where you're kind of just slapping the bikini fairing on it or whatever, but it is more of a neo retro design like the Speed Triple 1200 RR had.
Yeah.
One interesting thing to note about these two models is that they have a slightly more powerful version of the engine. And it's with
certainly
just a couple more horsepower, and that's mostly from a slightly longer valve lift duration.
Got it. Which, I mean, getting a few more horses, percentage wise in a smaller displacement motorcycle can always be worthwhile.
For sure. It's weird. I'm definitely getting like Svitpillen 401 or Vitpillen and Svartpillen. Sorry, I got it all mixed up. The Pillens, the 401 Pillens. Like, it seems to me these are clear competitors for those bikes. Not that anyone really asked for that, but
nobody asked you either, buddy.
Apparently not. I know my role.
No, they're just another couple of cool motorcycles in this displacement category, and from Triumph. So if you're not thrilled about the recalls we just talked about, here's another manufacturer giving you an option in that category.
And then keeping with the small bike theme, we get to our first ride review of the 2026 Honda CRF 300F by our pal Sylvia Houston, a really accomplished on-road and off-road rider who can do sick wheelies for days on end. But we asked her to just give this one a ride, and if you can put the front tire in the sky, all the better. But no, she came back really impressed with it.
And she had spent time on the previous CRF 250F. So, had some context there. This is, for anyone that doesn't know, this is kind of, Honda's trail bike. This isn't a plated motorcycle, but basically kind of an entry level dirt bike, trail bike, whatever, that you kind of get out with the family and ride. Honda makes a lot of different sizes in this category, so you could really get one for the whole family and go out and have fun together. But with the CRF 300F, you're now obviously getting more displacement, getting a little bit more torque, a little bit more power. And like I just mentioned, when you're getting that little bit extra in this small displacement category, even if it doesn't sound like a lot, it's percentage wise, it is a lot. So this is, from according to what Sylvia said from her experience with the 250F, this is a noticeable amount. She really noticed it on the climbs and stuff like that she had the torque to kind of keep chugging. And what's awesome is that Honda was able to bring this update, this power increase and whatnot, and keep it at the same MSRP that it was before. So always love to see that. It doesn't happen very often. But yeah, I mean, in terms of chassis performance, not a huge difference. There was a little bit of an update for the suspension, but more or less it's going to feel pretty similar to the outgoing 250F, I think.
And you get a 6th gear too.
Definitely worth mentioning, because you can't even get that on a Suzuki DRZ. But we're not talking about them right now. So going from one end of the spectrum, though, for this nice low displacement entry-level price point trail bike, to
the Big Daddy,
the absolute spaceship of Austrian motorcycle development in the KTM 1390 Super Adventure S Evo.
I think spaceship on wheels pretty much covers it.
I would agree. I'm jealous that Nick got the chance to jump on that before any of the rest of us did. But yeah, he ended up, where was he? Spain? I'm just going to guess.
Wasn't it Canary Islands, Tenerife, or something like that? Judging by the photos, it sure looks like Tenerife to me.
Yeah, I think you're right. Somewhere exotic.
Which I guess is still Spain.
Incredibly twisty, technically. Incredibly twisty roads for a big machine like that. So, good place for KTM to have the intro and get the bike together for a bunch of people to test it out.
Quirky shift choices. So yeah, this one, the 1390, has the AMT, the automatic transmission, and as you can probably guess with automatics, sometimes it doesn't shift when you want it to, or it does shift when you don't want it to. Some of that going on here. Let's see. Core electronic features are an accessory. Yep. That's KTM. Annoying.
Yeah.
That's annoying. And then optional luggage. WTF.
Keeps happening.
WTF.
Yeah, I mean, getting into that one farther is that there's really so much to unpack here, and Nick did a great job of outlining it in this massive review that he was able to put together from that press introduction. So I definitely, I don't want to take too much time getting into it here because there's a lot to unpack, and I think anyone that's interested should definitely head on over to Motorcycle.com and give that review a read, because there's a lot of good information, good impressions in there.
Yeah, and then moving on, I mean, going from the 1390 Super Adventure to a completely different bike in the 2026 Aprilia RS660 factory, but Nick wrote another great review of this bike as well. Some updates for the 660 RS660 factory. Again, read Nick's review to get all of it. I did spend a little bit of time on the bike, not a whole lot, but the gist of it is the same. I mean, the 660 for a middleweight twin, it rips. Like, it's such a good little bike. Excellent handling, fun engine that's not too powerful, but still is plenty exciting. For a sporty bike, the ergos are, they're livable. They're not bad at all. And then some of the size, I mean, the emission slump is still there. Not as bad as before, but that's not really Aprilia's fault. That's just kind of how things go right now with emissions. Um, the cockpit could be tight for taller riders, which pretty much on any sporty bike will be true for taller riders. And then the quick shifter. Yeah, it has happened to me a couple times too. It's just at lower like street speeds, it's can be sometimes a little bit notchy. Not the smoothest quick shifter at lower speeds, and it really comes alive once the revs start climbing. But that's kind of to be expected. So, again, we're reaching for things to say negatively sometimes. So, all in all, the 660's a good one.
What have you been riding, dude?
Dude, I just wrote a review, not just, but I wrote a review of the 2026 Suzuki GSX 8TT.
Oh.
And I'll just go out and say it because I said it in the story. Pretty sure I said it in the video or something. I've said it multiple places, but of the GSX 8 platform, that is my favorite.
Oh, hot take.
It is. I think it looks fantastic with that GS 1000S influence styling.
And this is so what is the TT?
So the GSX 8T and the TT take the GSX 8S platform and give it a retro spin on things. The TT that I rode is inspired by the GS 1000S, and then the single T, oh man, I keep forgetting which bike that was inspired by, but another one of Suzuki's, classic 1970s motorcycles. No fairing, no bikini fairings, just a round headlight up front, no chin spoiler on the bottom. I think it looks fine, but me personally, I dig the little bit extra that the TT brings to the table. That little bikini fairing looks cool.
Love
the gold wheels on the matte or satin green finish looks cool. Largely, mechanically speaking, it's the same bike as the 8S. Even the TT has handlebars that are roughly in a similar position your hands would be as the 8S. So that's kind of cool. The big difference there with the TT is the seat is a little bit different, the tail is a little bit different, and then importantly, the foot pegs are a little bit lower than the 8S. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I rode both of them, the 8S and this TT, back to back, and the difference in comfort was huge, in my opinion. It was a lot more comfortable. Just everyday riding on the highways around town, whatever, was way more comfortable on the TT. Plus, it looks better, in my opinion. The downside for that, as you can probably or maybe see in the images on the review on the website, is the pegs touch down quicker when you're going through canyons and stuff. Like even in the photos we took on the street, I did touch them down one time, which I don't usually do unless we're like riding cruisers. So, there's that. But at the same time, this isn't really a bike meant to be like blasting through canyons at warp speed. So there's that. But yeah, the same 776 parallel twin engine that we know and love so much. Nice abundant power, good torque. The quick shifter on it works okay. There's obviously better quick shifters on the market, but it's not so bad. I think my biggest gripe about the TT is its price. It's a $12,000 bike.
That's really a bummer because they did the same thing when they brought out the Katana based off the other GSX 1000 platform. And I thought that bike was so cool with its retro styling, but then they did the same thing. They kind of priced it out of contention with, what is reasonable for the rest of the market. And they did the same thing here.
Totally. So be on the lookout for some used models in a couple of years at a more palatable price tag, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool bike. price tag is a little unreasonable in my opinion.
Yep, leave that up to your wallet. You can decide.
Yep. I mean, yeah, lots more to say about that bike, but you got to go read my review to learn all about it. All right. So, we've tried something new here at Mo with this latest segment thing that we've done.
Oh, really?
Well, you know about it.
I know a little bit about it.
Well,
I've heard the story. I've seen the
well,
documentaries.
Tell me what you know. What is this?
So we decided to kick off a little series. We're kind of in pilot season with this thing, but we were able to get a hold of a couple Husqvarna Pillins, as you mentioned. These were the 701s.
801s.
801s. That's right. They're 801s these days.
We're
bumping this thing up to $799. Yeah, so we were able to get a couple of those. We got our good friend from I don't even know what to call the group anymore, but the orange and white and red group over there to come out and ride with us. Good friend Chris Fillmore, super fast guy, Pikes Peak record smashing champion in every category, ex-racer, all sorts of stuff, PR extraordinaire. Good guy, came out to ride a really fun, lesser-known route in California. And yeah, so we got to go check out some cool eats, some good spots, grab some good coffee. Dude, you didn't get any gelato this time, but it was kind of cold anyway. You got some snow instead.
Too dang cold, man.
Yeah, but kind of put together a little video series about a lesser known route in California, but you'll have to check out the project on the site or on YouTube to find out what route that was.
Yeah, the segment itself is called Ride and Seek. This one obviously being episode 1. But the whole premise here is we want to go and seek out cool roads to ride.
Ones that you maybe don't know about.
Yeah, the more obscure or the lesser known, the better.
Troy loves it.
I love the obscure. So yeah, I mean, if you've got some cool roads we should go check out, let us know in the comments or
Please.
Hit us up on the website. Let us know what we should go check out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we are going to end things on a little bit of a sad note here. If you've been reading Mo for a little while, you might know the name Bruce Allen. He was our MotoGP reporter for a while. Just a fanatic of the sport, an excellent writer, an all-around good guy. Sadly, he has passed away.
Yeah, and it's, Bruce did a lot for the site more consistently, many years ago at this point, but he's always been a friend of Motorcycle.com. And Dennis put together a really nice tribute article. And, you want to speak to that, Dennis?
Yeah, I think, first, I think all of us, I probably worked with him the most because I was one laying out his stories when he would submit them. Readers loved the color that he brought to reporting on racing. He gave it very much his own personal touch and his own personality, and it really carried through in his writing. And I know it's been a couple of years since we've had him writing for us, but we still get readers, remembering him and talking about how entertaining he made reading about MotoGP. And I mean, it's always sad when we lose people that we know and we've worked with. And he wrote for us for quite a long period, actually, several seasons. So he was a big part of Mo for quite some time. So it's very sad that he's no longer with us.
He was known for putting the riders in different tranches after each race and each season. But he was also known for just taking digs at Cal Crutchlow whenever he possibly could. And that was always really, really funny. So yeah, it's, what do you say to that?
R.I.P.
Condolences to his entire family. He will be missed, and luckily his work lives on, not only on the pages of Mo, but throughout the internet as well. So if you want to read some entertaining pieces about MotoGP from the mid 2000s up until about the past like 5 years or so.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of, examples of his writing.
Yeah.
Outside
Anyway,
of just that too. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Check it out. But yeah, there was no easy way to bring that up, and it's a bummer to have to report that, but it was worth it because he was a part of the Mo family, and we're gonna miss him
for sure. Well, with that, I think that pretty much wraps up the first episode of the new year. Unfortunately, on a little bit of a sad note.
A little bit of a sad note, but
we're gonna have to look forward to what we have going on. As usual, the even numbered episodes are going to have a special guest that we'll have interviews with. We're going to kind of continue the same thing that we've been doing with the Bore and Stoke podcast. So definitely look forward to episode 18. And if you didn't see episode 16, didn't listen to that one, it was super cool to talk to Johnny. And I think that one's worth giving a listen to.
Yeah, as always, if you are wherever you're viewing this or hearing this from, whatever platform you're on, please leave us a review, rate us, say nice things about us. That would be cool.
Yeah.
The usual, if you are watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, boys, any last words before we end this thing?
I think that wraps it up for me. DC, what do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty much all we have to say for this month. We'll catch you next month.
Sounds good. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for catching.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Happy New Year, y'all.
New Year.
Yeah. So thanks again for watching episode 17 of the Bore and Stoke podcast, brought to you by the Honda Goldwing and the Honda Goldwing Tour. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Later. That wraps this episode of the Bore and Stoke podcast, brought to you by Honda Powersports and the 50th anniversary Honda Goldwing, celebrating 5 decades of raising the bar in motorcycle touring. From its smooth flat 6 power to its advanced rider aids and modern tech, it's the gold standard for a reason. So whether you're serious about long distance or just long weekends, if you're gonna ride something legendary. Discover the 50th anniversary Honda Goldwing today at powersports.honda.com.